Bearded dragons make horrible pets, at least for people who don't do their research. Hi guys, it's me Valentina. Welcome back to my channel, and this is Ruby, my bearded dragon. And in this video, I'm going to be doing the cons of owning a bearded dragon. The first con is their space. Their minimum requirement is a 4x2x2, which is 120 gallons. A 120 gallon, that is pretty big, and you do have to make space for that. I would also argue that bearded dragons do need a little bit more than that, because I do see how these guys are very active and love to move around. So I think the bigger the space, the better, for sure. So that's the first con, space. So their second con is their lighting. They need a very specific amount of heat. So they need a cool side and a warm side, and their basking spot needs to be like at 100 or even more degrees Fahrenheit. So their basking spot needs to be really hot because it has to replicate where they're native to, Australia, in the deserts. People that don't know much about bearded dragons or reptiles may get the wrong UVB, may not replace the UVB, may not have the right temperature, the right heat bulbs. So that can be kind of a con, and that's why I wouldn't recommend a bearded dragon for beginners. The next con is their cost. Bearded dragons individually don't really cost that much. Usually on average $100 for a bearded dragon. Bearded dragons do need to go to the vet. They need to get, oh, that's really cute. They need to get checkups. They need to get fecal samples to see if they have worms. And if they have worms, you got to give them dewormer, which is what this girl had. Or if they need surgery or an x-ray, that's going to cost a lot of money. And a lot of people aren't willing to spend that on a bearded dragon, which is why I would not recommend bearded dragons as beginners. The next con for bearded dragons is their diet. A lot of people are very squeamish and don't like to touch live bugs. So you have to be aware that you will have to touch or at least use tweezers with live bugs. You can't just feed them freeze-dried. That's nothing. That doesn't give them any nutrients. An adult bearded dragon, they need a lot of salads. So they need like leafy greens, and they need a little bit of vegetables and fruits. So you have to make them a little salad like every other day. And a lot of people can find that difficult because you have to go out and buy the salad, buy the fruits, buy the veggies, and also the price of crickets and worms, hornworms, roaches, all of that can also add up. To wrap it all up, I would say that their cons are definitely the space. They require a lot of space. Then I would say the cost, because of vet costs and vet appointments. And then I'll also say the lighting, getting the correct UVB, getting the correct temperature, the heating, and the warm and cool side. And then also a little bit of their diet. Like, that can kind of suck for some people if you're afraid of bugs. She doesn't like green. Sometimes you can get picky bearded dragons. Like mine, she sees a green leaf coming and she turns her head the other way. She doesn't like it. So I had to trick her with a bug and then put the leaf in her mouth. Their costs do add up with their food, their lighting. Lights are very expensive. Oh my God, UVB, heat lamps, replacing those. Oh, it's a lot. It adds up for sure. So yeah, those are the cons of a bearded dragon, and that's why I don't like when pet stores sell bearded dragons, because a lot of people get them as babies, get a 10-gallon, they grow up, and they don't know what to do with it. They either release it in the wild, which is horrible, you should never do that, or they just rehome it, or they just neglect the animals. So that's why bearded dragons are definitely not my first pick for recommending people a beginner species for reptiles. Oh, look at that face. So yeah, but if you do your proper research and you have the proper space, money set aside, then go ahead, get your bearded dragon. They are so worth it. They're so fun. They're so cute, and they're a great companion. And they all have different personalities, which is amazing. If you are looking for a bearded dragon to add to your home, make sure you find really good breeders. that know what they're doing, know their stuff, and tell you the right stuff. Or you can rescue bearded dragons. Here's a really good rescue. I'll link up their Instagram. They ship all throughout the USA, if I'm not mistaken. You can rescue a bearded dragon. There's not a lot of reptile rescue. Just search it up, see if there's any in your area or any that are willing to ship throughout the USA or wherever you live. And you can definitely rescue. I totally recommend it. Or you can look on Facebook groups where they have rehoming sites for reptiles or pets. And there is a lot of animals that need rehoming. So I would definitely recommend rescuing before finding a breeder, and definitely don't buy from pet stores. Oftentimes they come from mills and they come in very dirty conditions, and it's really sad. Looking into those Facebook rehoming groups is something I recommend, and that's actually how I got my leopard gecko, Dahlia. And I did have to help her out a bit because she came in a really bad condition, not as such a severe condition, but it wasn't a bad condition. And fortunately, she's all better. She acts like a normal leopard gecko. Everything is fine with her. She's healthy and normal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know your opinions of bearded dragons, or what pet would you not recommend to anyone as a beginner species? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Ready? Okay. Ruby says bye. Bye.